Um, this is our first conversation.
Yeah,
I don't want to
nice to
leave the
finally
wrong
meet.
impression upon you, and I don't want you to think that the show is going to be one of those things of where um you're getting stuck with a question like I don't know how to answer this right now. I mean, if there's a form of discomfort that
Yeah,
ends
that's
up
all good.
happening, just let me know.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. But yeah, it's a romance show. We get romantic about electronic music and raving.
yeah, it's good.
I think music in general has that been going on for you a long time? How long is it that you've been making music?
Um, Making music not super long. It's been like 4 years now. DJing it's been 10, 10 years. Yeah,
What was the call? What was the transition call?
I think because I was just tired of just doing the same thing, like playing same clubs every week. Um, just wanted to like further my career, and I was like, the only way to do that was to actually make music and get into producing, right? I didn't want to be like just like a local DJ forever kind of thing.
Was it your desire to travel? What was it that made you want to get out?
I'm just tired of the same scene and stuff like that, right? Like I mean, like I could only be a local DJ for so long, and I eventually producing was on the back of my mind. I knew I had to like actually like get into it and do it, right? So
What was it?
because it was intimidating at
What
first,
was intimidating?
producing.
Because you were starting from scratch and you were unaware of the programs, or did you have any music theory?
Yeah,
Did you play any instruments before getting into it?
no, I had like no musical background at all. So I mean, I would just open up like FL Studio and just try to start and then be like, this sounds like ass, and then not have a kind of like a proper direction to finish things.
And what happened? I mean, what was your breakthrough?
I signed up for this class with Bass Class. He's doing like a one-on-one mentoring, and that kind of like finally put me on track to actually like get serious into producing and finishing stuff, right? So
I wanna go back to the idea of the Panda expansion. You want to break out of the local scene, but I guess what I'm trying to understand from your perspective is the reason why. Was it because was it just bigger? Was it more? Did you want to get exposed to do you believe that geography plays a role in what's happening musically?
yeah,
It's
I
a
mean
lot of
like just
questions. I'm sorry.
expand, yeah, just like expanding out of my city and stuff like that, right? I mean, and it's like how far can you go with just DJing and not making music, right? So
Um, I mean, there's a ver-
unless
there's
unless you're
examples,
like
but sure,
yeah,
there's examples, but I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're talking about an existing idea that a bigger track could land you in a newer environment, bigger show, bigger billing, this style of elevation. Obviously, dope, really important. Um, but was it like, for example,
having
let me,
music like that attached to my name, right?
pardon me, music like
Just
that.
having like like actual music attached to my name instead of just DJing, right?
Okay, so let's. I want to break this up. I want to circle back to this idea for a sec because I'm obviously very interested in it. I think that uh, would you say that your music is speed house? Is this how it would be described?
Yeah, that would be like my main thing is speed house.
But you're not sticking to the idea of a genre.
Yeah, I mean I like doing other stuff too. I've kind of dived into drum and bass a little bit. That's more stuff I want to make eventually. I started off making just bass house and kind of electro, and then yeah, I mean I'm down for anything, but like my main thing is speed house.
What if we didn't know what speed house was? How is it that you'd be able to describe it to a new listener?
Um, Four on the floor, like sitting around like 140, 155 BPM with like sound design. influences from bass house, electro, bassline, um, UK garage. There's kind of a little bit of like everything, but not exactly one of those. It's kind of like a little bit all of that together.
It's been an emerging genre. I'm seeing the name and the hashtag pop up more and more online. That there's, it seems to be getting.
Yeah, yeah, it's finally doing the rounds. It's like I started kind of making this in 2017, and I would say only maybe recently it's really kind of caught more attention of people, right? So
So, what is it that you think is the new appeal? Because the genre seemed to have been born from this blender of other genres that were out there. And now that we're in a situation of where there hasn't been a lot of dance floors to go ahead and try the genre out. Sure, it had some exposure before the pandemic hit all of us, but
yeah,
it seems to have gathered a lot of energy over the course
yeah.
of the pandemic. And do you think, is there a reason why that is? What's happening at home? What's happening at home right now that people
I
want to
have
get
no idea.
involved?
Maybe because there's no dance floors and people just want the energy, and that's like I mean, it definitely has the energy, right? So um, yeah, even when I was playing live streams and stuff, like if like I can see the reactions are better when I play my fast stuff according like as opposed to like my 128 stuff, right? So
Right, and it seems like I mean you must be feeling the feedback as well that now that you're moving with this genre
yeah,
and it's happening that there's like a form of elevation is for sure happening. A lot of people are talking about House of Panda.
yeah, and I guess people are home now too, right? A lot more, so they have more time to kind of like crate dig and spend time looking for new music, right?
Right.
So
So
yeah,
before the pandemic hit, though, did you find yourself? So, firstly, I mean, obviously, I know the answers, but where are we talking to you from?
sorry.
Where are we talking to you from? Where are you right now geographically?
Right, right now I'm in Winnipeg, but before the pandemic I was in Toronto.
Why the move?
um, like I just moved to Toronto January of 2020. And then I wasn't sure how bad the pandemic was going to get when I was there. And I kind of came back here because my family is here. So it was mainly just look after my parents and stuff like that, right? Because we didn't know how bad this was going to get. And then I ended up staying here because, nothing's really open. Toronto's still in a full lockdown. So it was like every chance that I wanted to move back, it was like nothing was kind of opening up still, and it's just cheaper for me to stay in Winnipeg right now. So
No doubt. Are
yeah,
are you finding that there's support for what you're doing locally?
um, yeah. I mean, there's nothing really open here either, right? Because clubs in Canada in general are just kind of like on hold for now. But I mean, I have a lot of support here from just the community because I grew up here, right? So, but yeah, even if I'm here or there, it's like um, just the support online is like where it's at.
When you were talking about just moments ago, we were talking about the idea of the Panda tour. When that could happen, um,
A Panda
the
tour?
House of Panda tour.
Yeah.
When that could happen, and the exploration that could be involved with touring, was it Toronto where you were before you moved that you were looking to change of pace, or is it Winnipeg that you're looking to?
It was Winnipeg.
Okay,
I was in Winnipeg before, yeah. But then I moved to Toronto because I wanted Toronto to be my new kind of home.
right. Do you think that was it easy to get a lot of interest in Speed House here?
Yeah, I mean I think so. Like I played Ever After Festival in 2019, and most of my set was Speed House, and that was the first time that was my first festival, and that was like out of town, and that was like the first time I seen people react to my music and kind of know my music. So I was like, oh shit, people are actually digging the Speed House stuff because they know the words to the songs, and I've never played these outside of Winnipeg before.
Where was it? Where was it that you felt that this started for you? The idea for Speed House. So was it something that you were listening to online, something that you were DJing, and that you wanted to contribute to? Was it something that you were just like, I'm pushing the BPMs on
Yeah,
this?
yeah. I mean, when I first started producing, I wanted to make bass house because I guess my main influences were like Jaws, Joyride, Moxie, mainly the guys that were kind of blown up the bass house scene, and then there was a song by Moxie and DJ Snake called Pigal, and it was at 135, and I was like, oh shit, this. So I was like, what if I start making stuff like this, but like faster, like 140, 145, 150, and then it just sort of kind of clicked, and I started doing almost everything that I made like in that tempo, right? So it was yeah, I mean that's like probably my main inspiration was that one song, and then just testing out like an even higher tempo and putting my own kind of like sound design on it.
Do you think that this could be its own stage, that it could be its own vibe? Is the music, do you feel that it could grow to,
Yeah,
yeah? We're
yeah, for sure, because it ties into like, I mean, hard dance, bass house, bass line, just a bunch of stuff that's kind of higher tempo. And I've been doing my like Speed World live streams. We've had like, you know, 12, 14 artists on one weekend, and everybody's sets are similar, but they're still different, right? So there's room for like everybody to have their own kind of style within the genre.
it's fun. I'm
It's
agreeing
cool.
with you when you mentioned hard UK Hard House, New Energy. Uh, this was a 4/4 style that was in the late 90s, early 2000s, high BPM.
Yeah, like my first rave was it was Anne Savage playing and Lisa Lashes. So maybe that was kind of like a big influence at the time. And back then, I didn't even know like music or who's DJing or whatever. I just seen a flyer and like I was just a young kid and obviously I'm just going to the rave to just party. But that I realized that was what I kind of started with because my first rave was Anne Savage and Lisa Lashes here in Winnipeg. So that was 2007.
I like the swing of the vibe. I like that the energy is incoming. It felt like for a long time electronic music had been marinating in this very slowed down vibe. And there definitely is energy in the low BPM. I'm not going to say that's not there, but there's also there's something that is the nostalgic rave vibe I feel that is associated with the higher BPMs that the involved
Yeah, definitely.
as soon as it happens, the involvement seems to be, it's an organic involvement, right? You're right away
Yeah.
pulsing with the music. What do you feel
Yeah, I mean, the first time I seen it live, it was like I can, the reaction is just crazy to it.
if there was a place right now on planet Earth that Speed House was doing the most with? What would you say? Where would that be?
Japan for sure.
Okay, and is it one of those things where it's in all the clubs? Is it radio? What's happening in Japan with Speed House from your observations?
I think it's in their kind of community there because I've noticed on Twitter my kind of the biggest following that talks about Speed House is from Japan. Um, I mean, most time I don't know what they're saying. I have to translate it, but they write out Speed House and then what the rest of the tweet is in Japanese,
Right.
right? Um, but yeah, just like the support from there every time I release a song is bigger than anywhere else.
Do you ever find yourself online with fans who are talking to you from other parts of the planet and having to jump online with the Google Translator to figure out what's being said to you?
Yeah, exactly. Just on Twitter. I mean, if I like when I was searching up my name, um, so it'd be like someone from Japan tweeting like "How's Panda," but the rest of it's in Japanese. So I would have to like translate what they're saying. Like if it's something like I want to reply to that, I'll just reply in English, right? And then they can probably translate it back.
I'll tell you, I've gotten stuck so many times where and especially if I can't recognize the dialect, and you got to just Google a word and see what comes back to you. Be like, okay, it's Spanish. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and
yeah,
and decipher this code. So we're
yeah,
I've gotten stuck, man. It's been like. And I want to get back to them, and
Usually I can tell, like if it's Korean or Japanese, like I mean they look kind of similar,
right.
but I can like kind of separate it.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I'm a French, English, um, maybe a couple Spanish words now, but you know, and I've,
I think it should tell you like right away like what language it's in, and then it says Google Translate, and then I think it just recognizes it for you, so
what's
so you don't have to guess.
what's been happening for you during this time? I mean, the obvious answer has been, I'm going to assume, a lot of music making, streaming, DJing,
Yeah.
but what's been happening with you artistically? What's going on inside? Has this time been a time where you've been
Um,
with positive reflection? Do you feel that your energy has been strong throughout it, and that you're eager to escape the Canadian pandemic?
yeah, I mean, in the beginning, kind of like you didn't know what was gonna happen and stuff like that, and then there definitely was some like bad periods where I felt like I lost my kind of energy, and because I was just so used to going out every weekend and just being at shows, and even when I wasn't playing, I would just go out anyways because I love being in that kind of environment, right? So without that, it was kind of hard, and then yeah, I just had to kind of get back to being physically healthy, like working out at home, like because gyms were closed, and then just being mentally healthy too. Like started getting to meditation, a lot of reading and stuff. So yeah,
And was this what you would call would be the elastic that snapped back to positivity, where you're feeling good? Were these things like exercising, meditation, reading?
yeah, for sure. Like they help a lot. Like I always say, like even just daily exercise is so underrated, right?
100%.
Like if you don't feel great, just try to work out, get at least some kind of sweat, and you're guaranteed you'll feel better
Are
after,
dumbbells like the new Bitcoin? Is gym gear for the hoe?
right? Yeah, I mean it's hard to find like proper weights, but I have a
What
few,
did you
but
do?
I don't mind
What was
doing
it
body
like? What did you do? Did you have a trick online? Were you cycling between tabs on browsers?
uh no, like I mean I mean I don't really need weights to do it because then I just rather do body weight stuff, like I just do like a circuit or something. Anything just to make it work, like I don't want to depend on like if I can't go to the gym, I can't work out. Like I had to make a routine where like, you know, even though I can't go somewhere, I can still work out hard.
Right.
Lots of stuff you can, like push ups,
Sure.
burpees, jumping squats, everything,
Right.
you know?
Right. I
Yeah, just being active.
Yeah, it's super important. I thought to myself that a lot of the music that I was doing, earlier on, was based on a bunch of different ideas, but as time has progressed, I feel like it's really good for racing in the car or at the gym. Like I feel like it's somewhere between those two, but it's that action adventure
Yeah,
energy, that it's go. But the idea is
yeah,
it's and so it's changed, and that's why I was talking to you about what was going on during this time for you. Going back out, do you feel the drive to push Speed House into what might be the House of Panda next level?
yeah. I mean, I can't wait. I mean, all I do is like think about what's gonna happen after we get out of this in Canada. Like in states, they're already back to having festivals and stuff.
Yeah, no,
So, I mean, I can't wait. So,
it's wild to see. My friends are like, come party. I'm like, borders closed. Like, I can't leave Canada, even if I try.
yeah,
Like, I can't leave Canada. I don't even know if I
yeah,
can leave Ontario.
yeah. I think you can't even leave the Ontario
Yeah,
border.
I'm not. I have
So
no idea. Maybe,
hopefully soon. I don't
maybe,
know.
who knows? I mean, I'll say it out loud. I'm half vaxxed right now, and I'm stoked for the second shot. So, like, sign me up. What
Yeah, I think we need like 70% of people there, and then we can open up again
I
because
did,
like
I read something like that.
that's what
Once we reach
I think. It's what
75%,
I think that's their goal.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so hopefully by summer, because I don't want to miss another summer up in here.
What is Speed House's next level? If you could imagine it, where does it go? And is it just because of the BPM? Is there another idea that could elevate the Speed House genre?
Um, just getting into more. I mean, getting more people involved in it. I think. I mean, even though it's kind of it has artists from all over the world kind of making it, I think it still has a lot of room to grow too. Because especially with new artists, they have their own kind of take on it and their own kind of sound design. Um, People like putting their own vocals and stuff on it, which is cool. And then yeah, I mean, it just needs to grow, you know?
If the genre is in its infancy stage, and I mean it is, we don't, and who knows where it, I mean,
Yeah,
I'd love to watch it go boom. Um,
yeah,
do you feel at times like an outlier in electronic music, knowing that you're going against the grain? The darlings of the dance floor. I mean, we could name them. We don't need to,
yeah, for sure.
but it's
Yeah,
not the
definitely.
speed house genre, right? So how
Yeah.
is it that you what is it that you do to persevere? Let's talk about this uplifting vibe that you use. What tool is in your toolbox to keep it going and rock on?
Um, I mean, I think mainly because I love it, and then it's like it comes most natural to me when I'm making music. So, I mean, even though there was kind of times like when it was first starting out, like in 2018, 2019, I wasn't sure if this was going to be something that actually works. Like it works for me. I mean, I've seen it work in my sets, but is anybody else going to like, catch on to this? Any other big artists are gonna like kind of like be interested in this? But I mean, now like you see it picking up, so I didn't want to like kind of give up on it and then make something else, right? So
But in the beginning, the support wasn't clear. It wasn't obvious, right? I mean, you were doing something that was entirely based
yeah,
upon
it's kind of
passion.
like I was just doing something I love, and I wasn't sure yet. Even though later on it was kind of like big support. Like I got my song, one of my tracks played by Tiesto at Ultra, and
Sick.
Jaws at EDC.
Cool.
But it still kind of wasn't clear enough that was this gonna pick up like and kind of like go everywhere, right? But because a lot of different things were like the big thing at the time that were taking over, like tech house and like a lot of like the Fisher and Chris like kind of stuff, like the more mainstream kind of like tech house, right? So
Right.
and that was kind of the like because everything just happens in like waves. So that was the wave,
Right.
and then this thing, and I think now everything is kind of like everybody has their own um kind of area in this like dance music community, and there's nothing like one thing that everybody's focusing on, right?
It's very strange to see. By my observations, I'm watching one thing happening online amongst the various apps. The discussions on Discord. Uh, it seems
Yeah,
it seems that music listeners are doing one thing, and then I see the festivals, and it seems like it's doing something else. It was almost like everything got paused, and then they're just picking up where they left off. But it seems like a lot of music has moved on into something else, and I'm not seeing the
yeah,
cat. Do you agree with me, or am I wrong? Is my
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people are saying that pretty vocal about that too on Twitter. That's like the lineups haven't changed at all, but the
which is
music has changed a lot.
right, because like the pandemic did stuff. Like I definitely do feel the speed house, and that's why I wanted to really talk to you about it because it's happening, and I get
Yeah,
if techno is like what's going on in techno right now. For example, in North America is not what's going on with techno in Europe. Like like Russia, like all the electro that's happening, all the techno and electro that's happening, it's coming out of Russia right now. It's making me go boom in my brain. It's really raw and
man,
gritty.
send me some of that.
Grab some yourself. I mean, like there's Tram Planet, Private Persons. Check out a duo called Locked Club. I mean, I every
Lock
time
up.
their music
Okay,
comes
cool.
on, I mean, I'm like I'm in the zone with it, and it's um
Yeah, I mean, I've been digging a lot of techno too, and Tommy sent me like a huge folder of like all this new techno stuff, and I was like, holy fuck!
really, yeah. I'm not quite sure where it's at or what he's released recently. I know that I've released on Brooklyn
Like
Fire. I know you
not
have as
this
well.
stuff, but this promo like
Oh,
that he
oh,
got.
oh, stuff that is being sent his way. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
absolutely adoring all of it right now. Just because it's absolutely gritty, totally raw. It's very different than the very smooth, very well produced, very well assembled stuff that's been going on for the
Yeah, it's
last
very raw.
last few
Got that.
years. It's like here's these fucking loops, dance motherfucker, and it's like okay, I'm there,
Yeah,
I'm there for it. Um,
yeah. And it's got that old school kind of like '90s rave feel to it
sure,
too,
which seems
which
to,
is fucking
and that's
cool.
why, and that's what I'm wondering is that where it's flipping back to? It feels like right
I
now
think so. I think
we are flipping back to the '90s. You know, was is Speed House
yeah,
what was going on? For example, like I think about Tony DeVito. Or I'm not pretty sure if I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'm not quite sure if you know this artist. He's a DJ. I believe he was a resident DJ at Trade in the UK, and one of the earliest UK hard
hard,
house,
big hard
yeah,
house.
UK hard house, new energy DJs. I mean, I might be wrong. Someone's can jump in a thread right here and correct me. But I believe he definitely was up there. And Lisa Lashes and Savage. I believe this was an after thing that maybe happened. Tony was really out there pushing a higher BPM and that sound. And then this is how I learned of Tidy Tracks. I learned of Tidy Tracks because I checked out Tony's
Damn.
playlist, yeah, his set list, and I'd be like, oh, what are these labels? You know, same with Nucleus. You know, it felt like Tidy and Nucleus at one time were leading that chart. And
Yeah,
Nucleus, I think, even branched off into in a variety of different colors to say, okay, it's this style of new energy, but this is over here is hard house. It's and there was a distinguishment for a moment between
yeah.
the new energy. Am I wrong with all this? I feel like I'm leading the conversation.
Back then, back then I couldn't tell. I was so young, I was just a raver that wanted to party, but
Right.
it all sounded like hard house to me. So it's like I wasn't even that. I mean, that educated on to distinguish it um, from the different kinds of like hard house in that like space, right? So
Right. Have you gone and done any traveling like to head outside of Canada into Europe to party?
not the last year, yeah, in February last year to go DJ out there.
Oh yeah? How
That
was
was
the
dope. They really
experience?
really love the faster styles.
Right.
No, it's dope. Like it was one show in Prague and one show in um I forgot the name of the smaller city, but yeah, they really dig like the faster stuff there because when I would kind of like bring things down to like back to 128 and play bass house, you could tell like they weren't into it as much. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go balls to the wall, 150 and up.
Do you find that how long was the set time? Were you on for an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours? Do you remember?
2 hours, yeah, both sets were 2 hours.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say
That's why I kind of like make it like a. That's why I kind of try to like go from a speed house back down to like 128 and then go back up again, right? But
Journey.
I mean, they want it all fast. So I was like, cool.
If you could think to yourself um, throughout the time of when you first started to DJ up until right now, would you say that looking back to your first mixtape and now to your latest release, does this timeline make sense? Do you feel like it's coherent that
Yeah,
someone could
I
go
definitely
back
think
and see
so
the
because
story?
yeah, I definitely think so because if I started producing when I first started DJing, I would have made completely different stuff. I probably would have made like Big Room or something like that. Like I wouldn't have made what I've made now because like all I had to go through all those phases of music to kind of like lead me here and like now this is what I want to make and this feels the most natural to me, right? And just based off like my influences from partying and raving back then and going through like the bloghouse days, the electro days, and then the EDM days, and then till where we are now, right? So I think if I started a lot earlier back then, I would have made something completely different, and maybe I wouldn't have ended up here. So
Wild.
like in Speedhouse, I would have like maybe done something else and went a different route. So
Earlier, when we first started talking, you brought up how you liked being out, even if you weren't playing. What is it that is so appealing about being out? Is it the music? Is it the people?
it's just yeah, the music, the people, the energy, just being in that environment. Like even if I don't go and go out with anybody, I'll go by myself and just hang out, right?
Do you think about that when you're playing? What is it that's on your mind when you're out there and you're performing in front of people? Are you considering the things that you would think about if you were just out partying and not playing? Are you thinking only about the journey of your set?
Yeah, I mean, like I want to play a set that I would enjoy if I went out. That I think that's why I kind of mix fast and like I don't really like long breakdowns too much stuff like that. I kind of like mix fast and I like edits and mashups and a lot of like changes and stuff like that to keep the crowd engaged. Because if I go out, that's the kind of set that I would want to see, right? So
Do you ever find yourself getting lost in the loop though because of techno is perhaps with some slower changes? Maybe it's more about the tension and the release rather than the quick cuts and the fast pace.
yeah, I mean when I was I did a techno live stream for my friends, kind of like their live stream event series, and that was all techno, and that was like less mixing fast and more like tension release, letting things ride out and build up, right? I don't mind that either, but like for my own stuff, if I was playing like speed house, I would rather things move like a lot quicker and have like mashups and edits and changes and all that, right?
Cool. As a DJ, there's no doubt that you've probably had uh, a bunch of great experiences performing. Where would you say has been the highlight for you so far? Something that you recall back that is maybe what you're chasing.
Hmm. Man, the last place I went to play somewhere was um well that was Czech was one of them, and that was like one of the best places because just people just they love like faster stuff. So um yeah, the energy was like nonstop. My I mean ever after in Toronto was really dope too because that was my first festival. And just having that experience of people knowing your music is like it's really great because you're like, oh, people actually know this stuff, and because you don't know who's listening to it, you can see what cities are listening to this kind of music and stuff. And I didn't have a lot of plays back then, so I didn't know how much of my music was reaching the audience in that city in Toronto. And then but people would show up and they know the words to my song, so I'd be like, oh shit, this is dope. It's a great feeling. So one of the highlights so far.
If you could go and think about having three songs in your record box, in your kit, however it is that you carry your music, there are three songs that you know you love. They are either rescuing your dance floor or there's something that you just know is they're anytime moments for you. They can elevate and bring it up just the same. What are these three
Oh
songs?
man. um,
Eee.
I would say Darren Styles' "Switch" was one of them. Um, I'll have to go with one of my songs. One of my songs would be "Punked," um, and "The Power," which is my collab with Tommy.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah,
If we could drop a spoiler for
those are my go-to.
those are your go-tos. If you could drop a spoiler right now for House of Panda, what would the spoiler be?
Um, I don't really, like anything like set for like a spoiler, but I do have some big plans in the future. Like I really wanna throw kind of like my own party here in Canada, like a big party. Um, like which is like what I was doing for the Speed World live stream. But I want to do like Speed World in real life. So I really want to start kind of planning that as soon as I know when things are gonna open up, right? So
Wow.
yeah, throw them out kind of like mini festival. Yeah.
Do you think about how over the last year playing on a variety of different apps became a limited idea? You were Were you looking at what it was that you were playing? Were you thinking about mutes, or were you thinking about the streams being cut? Was that ever on your mind?
No, like I've never had that. Even though I was playing some kind of like popular stuff, like as mashups and stuff like that too, and I was worried about being cut. But I don't think they don't like stop the stream live, but right, on Twitch and YouTube and stuff,
To be fair,
because
to
you'll
be
get
fair,
the
since I believe it was last September, the switch happened with Facebook and Instagram, which I like. They're the biggest. So like,
oh right, but it was based with Facebook,
so
yeah, yeah.
so
I think that's kind of why I prefer Twitch.
I Twitch has muted tracks in my stream. It has happened. Um, and
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like it's hard.
mostly what's been going on is that I've been putting together a bunch of stuff that I don't know if I'll ever release. And this is where my
Yeah,
brain is at, not because the stuff isn't stuff that I like. I like it enough to play it. Um,
yeah,
it's just that I think a lot about how if the music is released, then everybody's got it, and everybody's got it. Then when I'm playing it in my sets, is that still cool? And that's my question. What do you think?
um, yeah. I mean, it depends of how you kind of like bring it in. Like
Okay,
I mean, if everybody's playing it one way, then I think that's why I'm a big fan of mashups and edits and stuff
sure.
too. If it's a song that people like a lot, then I really dig people that kind of like do their own edits for it and stuff like that, or even just doing like a live mashup with it.
So you think that
But
maybe there's a release version and then potentially a live version, which is alternative to the release.
yeah,
Right. Okay. Okay. I'm 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 on the right now. A lot of my questions are, if I want to play this out, wouldn't it be cool if I had a bunch of music that either you've only heard during my set or you've never heard before? And then that's some real excitement stuff because like I love this track and the only way I'm going to be able to ever hear this track is if I go to that show. Is if I go to
yeah,
that show. If I don't go to that show, I'm not getting that track unless someone bootlegs the set or the set's recorded and it's released. It's this type of idea,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But lately it's
yeah,
been on my mind a lot. That's why I was curious about what your thoughts were on something like this, and if you're thinking about the same thing as well. I mean, if you have,
yeah. I mean, like yeah, like that's the thing that I kind of feel about live streaming too is not kind of you have to kind of really change around your set because before when you would travel, you could, if your people are expecting your music for a set, you can travel and, play the similar kind of set of your music because it'd be their first time hearing it. But online, everybody can see your set, right? So it kind of pushes people more to be more DJs than a producer playing the
do
same
you
set.
think that there was a lot of that was
Um,
happening? Was
like,
there a lot of a lot, I guess, like a repetitive performance that was going on from the people that were on tour that they were playing this?
oh yeah,
Is that
oh yeah, for
encouraging
sure,
or
for sure.
discouraging?
Um, I mean, it's not, I don't find it discouraging because I mean, I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do, and regardless what other people are
What about
doing,
as a
right?
fan?
But some people see it as like,
What about as a
sorry.
fan?
I think as a fan, it's discouraging, yeah, for sure. But maybe that's because how I feel. Like I'd rather go see an art, well, I'd rather go see an artist that can DJ and like kind of like at least kind of throw down and switch things up, as opposed to doing like a song after song after song kind of thing. Because I like more exciting kind of sets. But
Right.
I mean, some people don't mind it, so people
Sure,
will go
sure.
to one
It's not
festival
about
and
right or
then
wrong. I'm just curious about
yeah,
where your vibe is at. You know, like yeah.
yeah. People prefer different things, but yeah, I prefer I prefer like people switching it up and doing something different every time,
Right.
right?
Yeah, no, I
And it makes it unique too. So
a long time ago, buying concert tickets, I found out that bands had set lists, and there was some alternating to them, but the set list was predominantly the set list. And when I learned about this, I guess I was a little, I don't know, I was a little like, yeah, it becomes more of a
Bummed out.
performance live rather than live, and I think about the happy accidents of music and the cosmic feeling that happens because of these happy accidents, and you must have experienced some of these happy and unique
Yeah,
accidents just from producing. Sitting down trying to do something, you're going in
yeah,
one direction, you had no intention for this sound, but it happens, and you're like, well, that's fucking great. I'm gonna run with this right now, and
yeah.
and and that obviously can happen.
Those are the best times you find
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
So
Performing this happens too. I mean, even on a DJ thing. I mean, if you're trying a new mix that you had
yeah,
no idea, or sometimes you've dropped it a few bars off or forward or back, and the timing is not what,
and it
yeah,
works.
and it
Yeah,
works. It doesn't just work. It's like it's better than what you had in mind. Right,
yeah, yeah,
man. Thanks a lot for jumping on with me and powwowing with me. I appreciate it.
yeah. Thanks
Making the
for
time to come on
having me, man.
and do the thing. For everyone that's out there listening, if they wanted to tune into your music, where would you want them to head to? What's the best spot?
House of Panda on Spotify or just my SoundCloud House of Panda. So those are my two main spots.
Awesome sauce. And that's exactly who we've been talking with today here in the utility room. Bang! House of Panda. Super awesome sauce. Really appreciate
Yo.
y'all with us. And you too. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that make Utility Room go. And we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.